ArriveScam has been blown open and the government is now in deep, deep trouble. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. ArriveScam has been trending off and on for the last few weeks, especially with conservative MPs such as Larry Brock, Michael Barrett, and Stephanie Kusi, amongst others, pushing for documents and reports to be leaked. We've seen motions in the House of Commons to issue arrests if CEOs from those that took very large, in fact, up to $250 million in contracts and payouts do not make themselves present and testify in order to what went on during the development of an $80+ million app that was supposed to be around $80,000. And the time for Justin Trudeau and his friends is nearing an end. As I've said multiple times before, I feel this is going to be larger than the sponsorship scandal. I think this is going to be bigger than any other scandal we've seen Justin Trudeau slide his way out of. I don't think there's a way for him to recoup after this. And we're going to get into that because there has been damning things happening in the House of Commons that have kind of pinned Justin Trudeau into a corner. And by that, I mean that things are going to explode and there's nowhere for him to run. Now, it's important to note, and I wanted to mention, keep your eyes peeled on the channel next week, Friday, as Stephanie Kusi of the Conservative Party will be joining me here on the channel to be talking about what went down with ArriveCan, what's still going on with ArriveScam, and where we're headed in the future with inquiries and what this new motion that we're going to talk about on today's video means moving forward for Justin Trudeau and if his time, in fact, is drawing near to a close. I've also been in talks with Larry Brock's team as well as Michael Barrett's to see if I can get both of them on the channel at some point in the near future as well. But Stephanie will be joining us here next Friday, so check out the channel. Keep your eyes peeled. Again, turn on your bell for notifications, folks. That's going to be an interview you do not want to miss. But it's important today because an article released talking about the Department of National Defense. One of the CEOs that received millions of dollars in the ArriveScam debacle was an employee of the Department of National Defense. This is a huge conflict of interest. It's a huge, huge problem. Again, things are just blowing up constantly, and a motion through the House has been put through. Again, we're going to get to that later on, but I wanted to cover this first as the DND suspends contracts with ArriveCan contractor after learning that the CEO is a DND employee. Now, that's Department of National Defense, not Dungeons and Dragons. Just a day after the federal government announced a review of its program to support Indigenous contractors, CTV News has learned that the CEO of a company that prompted the review is an employee of the Department of National Defense. David Yao is the CEO of Dalian Express, which received $7.9 million for its work on the ArriveCan app. The Defense Department confirmed Yao is currently employed with them but has been suspended. Due to the serious nature of concerns raised, the Department of National Defense is launching an internal investigation into the matter. A departmental spokesperson told CTV News in an email, "The individual has been suspended while this investigation is underway. We're in the process of suspending contracts with Dalian." The spokesperson, also told CTV News the investigation would be completed in a timely manner, but didn't specify how long that would be. "We take these concerns very seriously, and the internal investigation will be thorough," she wrote. The Globe and Mail first reported that the company presents itself as Indigenous-owned, and together with another company, Corridix, worked on the ArriveCan app. According to the Globe, the two companies are in receipt of $400 million in government contracts. So again, this is tied to the $750 million, or the $250 million, that we've seen doled out over the last 8 years, and $400 million in government contracts is nothing to squash at. Again, You notice that it's Indigenous owned, that this was right up Justin Trudeau's alley in terms of diversity hires, in terms of making sure that there's equity in these hires to justify the costs of what were being spent, when in fact this is just padding of pockets. But Indigenous Services Minister Patty Hadju yesterday announced a review of how it awards contracts to Indigenous owned businesses. The government's policy is that 5% of the total value of government contracts go to Indigenous businesses by 2024. So again, this may affect how funding is done in the future. And that's where I'm saying, folks, a lot of people calling out that Justin Trudeau is going to skate from this. Again, I very likely don't think that's possible. However, it's going to change the way contracts are worked from here on out, because the general public, as well as MPs that have been looking into these allegations, are aware that the public is now very anxious to find out where their money has gone. The public is going to be on pins and needles anytime these contracts are handed out, and they're going to want things done on the up and up, and feet are going to have to be held to the fire. But let's move on with the article. Two sources told CTV News that Yao is employed on the civilian side of the Department of National Defense as a member of the Material Group. Dalian Enterprises has received multiple contracts from the Department of National Defense, as well as the Canada Border Services Agency, the RCMP, and a number of other departments. CTV News has reached out to Yao but did not receive a response by the time of the publication. The story will be updated if that changes. That's not going to change if this Mr. Yao has a lawyer, because they, of course, do not want him talking on this. And again, this is blowing up. Now, on to where this has moved in the House of Commons. We've seen a motion put forward by Michael Barrett last week that, of course, came forward to say that if the CEOs of this G&L Enterprises, or the company that essentially doled out the contracts from a basement, claiming they did IT work but didn't do IT, G&L Logistics or whatever. Sorry, you'll have to forgive me, folks, because there's a lot of companies being thrown around in this. But essentially, Michael Barrett saying that they have 21 days to make themselves known in the committee, that they have to testify or face arrest. So it's going to be interesting as we head into March to see what happens, if people are going to be dragged in handcuffs. But now in the House of Commons, late yesterday, the House passes a Conservative motion asking the Trudeau government to disclose and recoup ArriveCan costs. This is huge. The government has within their ability to recoup these costs. They have to go after the money. So the good news is that the pressure has been put on enough in the House of Commons. There's no coalitions shutting this down. There's no NDPs blocking the motions. It has actually gone through, and we are going to see now the government, the Liberal government, be held accountable for this $80 million in taxpayer money that has been doled out. And this is, again, things like this are where I've said things are starting to change in the winds, and we may still see some form of a spring election. We may see parties start to crumble. Take of it what you will. But again, what we're starting to see now is that Trudeau's friends, I guess, that prop him up anytime these motions go through, anytime that the writing has been on the wall for Trudeau to skate along, have now turned coat and helped put through this motion. Now, it's going to get into who voted and did what, but let's take a look at this and then we'll discuss.
It's okay, I'm good. The question is as follows. Mr. Poilievre, seconded by Mr. Nader, move that, given that, one, the Auditor General's ArriveCan audit determined that the app cost taxpayers at least $500 million, sorry, $60, may I dispense? At least $60 million, but concluded it is impossible to determine the actual cost of the application. Deux, l'Ombudsman de l'approvisionnement a constaté.
Two, the procurement ombud found that in 76% of ArriveCan contracts, some or all of the contractors' proposed resources, such as subcontractors and employees, did not perform any work.
GC Strategies, an IT company that does no actual IT work, was paid nearly $20 million in relation to the ArriveCan app. The House demande au Premier ministre.
A call on the Prime Minister to table in the House of Commons no later than Monday, March 18th, 2024, a report which details the complete, direct, and associated costs concerning the ArriveCan app incurred to date including the total amounts paid to contractors and subcontractors, broken down by contractor or subcontractor, and the value of staff time represented by the salary, bonuses, and other expenses paid to all public servants who worked on the app. In relation to all expenses respecting
au travail de
respecting 1. Research and development of the app, 2. Management and storage of the data collected by the app,
3 au travail
3. Software development, testing, and maintenance, 4. Training for government employees for using and troubleshooting the app, 5. Call centers used for the app, 6. ArriveCan related communications with travelers by email or text message, 7. Market and opinion research, 8. Advertising, 9. Public relations, 10. Merchandise, gifts, and promotional material,
of security clearances, 12
So again, folks, I'm going to interrupt because this is a lengthy video, and it's about, well, you can see on the screen there, it's about 6 minutes long. And again, I don't want to keep interrupting. I'm going to try to let it run for as long as possible. But one thing to take from this is that, again, it's not just for them to reveal who was paid what. They have to reveal gifts. They have to reveal promotions. When we hear about the expensive whiskey tastings that went on, when we hear about the $1,900 per diems that were given out daily to these contractors, and where money was dispersed. Not only that, public relations, advertising, everything. It's not just dollars and cents. They have to expose everything at this point. And again, they're going to get into it further, but let's stay with us here, folks. Again, it's going to be about another 4 minutes of this video, and then we'll talk and we'll discuss what's going to happen next.
travelers' expenses after being wrongfully directed by the ArriveCan app to quarantine. 13, the services of legal counsel involved in contract negotiation, litigation arising from procurement, or the use and implementation of the app, and the numerous investigations conducted related to the app. 14, any other costs related to the ArriveCan app, and B, demande au gouvernement de
B. Call on the government to collect and recoup all funds paid to ArriveCan contractors and subcontractors which did no work on the ArriveCan app within 100 days of this motion being adopted, and for the Prime Minister to table a report in the House demonstrating that taxpayer funds have been repaid.
The 10-minute period for members voting electronically has started, and the House will now proceed to the vote for members participating in person. All those in favor of the motion will please now rise.
Mr. Scheer.
Mr. Scheer.
Mr. Schmale.
Mr. Schmale.
Mr. Bazan.
So again, they're going through just a quick, these are all the motions to go through. This is everybody voting through. Of course, they're covering the Conservatives. Bloc, NDP, and Greens vote yes, it says. Again, there's no audio when this is happening, so great news for the video. We don't have to stop and talk about it. We can just move through. Again, look, we can see the NDPs, or no, these are still the Conservatives. But as we move into the corners, we'll start to see the NDPs vote, the Bloc as well. I believe Yves Blanchette voted in favor. Again, we'll see the tallies when it's all finished. But what?
All those opposed to the motion will please rise.
Mr. McKinnon gets no.
Mr. McKinnon gets a no.
Mr. Blair.
Of course, Liberals are going to vote no. Here we go, guys.
Mr. Varani.
Mr. Varani.
Miss Sachs.
Miss Sachs.
Miss Chager.
Miss Chager.
Mr. McKay.
Mr. McKay.
What a I was going to say earlier, what a precedent that's being set here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's going to bring down Justin Trudeau, and I'm going to get into that at the end of this clip as to why his time is up, that this is the end of it. He's not going to skate from this one. We'll wait for the vote to finish and then hear the rest of the motion. We'll look at the numbers, and then we'll discuss. Again, we're seeing here the people remaining to vote. Mostly Liberals, a couple Conservatives in there so far. Pierre Poilievre amongst those Conservatives that was still yet to vote. Of course, good old Justin Trudeau still yet to vote. Of course he's going to vote no. No, please don't tell the world what's going on with with my ArriveScam. Please don't make me expose everybody that I've been lining the pockets of. Now, again, the timer's going to move down as we get ahead.
I wish to inform the House that the electronic voting period has ended. If members were not able to vote due to technical difficulties, they may now use the raise hand function and the chair will recognize them. The table will now compile the results of the vote.
Yeas pour 170, 170. Nays contre 149, 149.
Je déclare la motion adoptée.
Get that again because it was in French.
Nays contre 149.
Ended. If members were not able to vote due to technical difficulties, they may now use the raise hand function and the chair will recognize them. The table will now compile the results of the vote.
Yeas pour 170, 170. Nays contre 149, 149.
170 to 140 in the House to vote in favor of the Trudeau government having to disclose and recoup all costs of ArriveScam. And again, like I said, this was huge because it's not just who did you pay and how much. It's what did you spend on promotional items? What did you spend running the app, quarantining people, the list of people quarantined. Lawsuits are going to be incoming, I feel, from this. And whether or not that happens, now is the time where I believe this is going to be the downfall of the Trudeau government, at least Justin Trudeau as leader of the NDPs as time goes on. People can call it what they want to. They can say that I'm wrong, and that's okay. We'll see. I would like not to be wrong on this one, but again, when you go back to the sponsorship scandal, when you go back to past issues in the House of Commons, again, anytime we've seen Justin Trudeau when it came to the ArriveCan, when it came to the We Charity scandal, you know, he'd always stand up and say, oh, I was cleared by the ethics commissioner. Oh, everything was done. We cooperated with the RCMP. We have seen testimony of the RCMP here saying that they did not question Justin Trudeau whatsoever in ArriveScam, and now it's all going to come out. And not only that, but once it comes out and the Liberal government has to recoup the costs, the NDP are going to be in a very, very delicate position to have to, I guess, stand against the Liberals, because if they stand with a corrupt government, it'll be the downfall of their party as well. So again, I do believe that with this motion going through, this is the beginning of the end for the Liberals. People can, again, speculate how they want to. Again, this is just my opinion, but I think that the can has essentially been blown wide open here, folks, and this is, in fact, the beginning of the end of the Liberals. It's crumbling down. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Again, what a mind-blowing experience this was. I did not expect to see this today. Again, join us on the channel next Friday, Friday morning. Again, I'll be dropping the video interview with Stephanie Kusi in regards to this motion, what has gone on since with ArriveScam leading up to that date, and maybe what plans are for the future, or at least whatever she can disclose. And again, I'm getting work done to get Larry Brock and Michael Barrett on the channel as well to kind of keep this ball rolling. But ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time here, I hope this video out of any has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're clicking that subscribe button, you're hitting that bell for notifications. Join us live this Friday on the channel for Friday Night Fringe, where we go over everything that's happened in the week, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as some Q&A with the community. That all goes down here Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.